if we could just go around the room and have you introduce yourself first so we can get attendance. And John?
John Gorowski, I'm the superintendent of schools in Warrensburg.
Cynthia Hyde, Town of Thurman.
Frank Thomas, supervisor in Stony Creek.
Doug Huntley, superintendent of schools at Queensbury.
Doug Beatty, at-large supervisor.
Rachel Seaver, at-large supervisor, Queensbury.
John Strauss, supervisor, Town of Queensbury.
Gene Marino, supervisor, town of Lake Luzerne.
Marvin Stevens, representing Town of Johnsburg.
Matt Simpson, supervisor, Town of Horicon.
Edna Frazier, supervisor, Town of Hay.
David Harrington, Village of Lake George.
And I'm Kevin Garrity, Town of Warrensburg supervisor, acting county administrator. We have a overview of the shared services law. Well, in your packet you have a copy of the law. We have a little overview. We're going to go on this shared services initiative. As we get along into the rollout, we will ask for a vote whether we move ahead with it today or defer it to 2018, which I think from our standpoint, the county standpoint and the town standpoint, I think that's where we want to go. But we'll show you the PowerPoint. Joanne McKinstry, the Deputy County Administrator, will run through the PowerPoint with you. So go ahead, Joanne. Sure. Oh, well,
Can everybody hear me? I'm sorry, I have a cold, so I apologize. The 2018 state budget included this mandate for the CEO of the county to develop a panel of shared services. And it's a collaboration between local governments to come up with new ideas to share services. The chief executive officer of the county, which is Kevin right now, chairs the panel and will work with all of the panel members to come up with new ideas. The panel's responsibility is to help develop a shared services program to save property taxes. The property tax, the shared services has to demonstrate an actual property tax savings that goes on from year to year. It can't be like a one-time savings.
One thing is we can't use anything that we've already are doing. So a lot of the initiatives that we took on, right, are not eligible. So the consolidated purchasing that the county started, the shared services on municipal plowing, all those items that we already do aren't eligible for this new program.
Right. And the state may match any savings for 1 year from the first year. Any savings that we achieve, the state may match that savings and give us the funds. The composition of the panel is the CEO of every town, village, and city within the county, and they are required to sit on the panel by law. The law defines CEO as mayors and town supervisors. The chair can invite school districts, in which we did, and 2 school districts are here, and we're very happy they're here for some new ideas. Everyone sitting on the panel is a voting member, and sorry, I'm getting confused here.
Yeah, well, we can also have special improvement districts join us too. That would be like fire districts. If a town has a fire district and they want to sign up for this panel, that fire district can also be included in this panel. But you have to be a government entity.
Correct.
Right.
The role of the chair is to lead the proper creation of a plan. And the proper creation means the chair solicits meetings, input from the public, unions, and panelists, and develops and creates a plan and certifies the plan to the state. And he's also responsible to do a public presentation when the plan is final.
One of the things we did send out to all the towns, and I assume all the entities who responded, was your union representation, your union information, so we can send out to any union and see if they want to participate in this plan also. I don't know if we got a response.
I don't know if anyone here is from a union.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Good.
that's good.
Very good.
The role of the panel members are to participate in the development of the plan and decide whether or not to opt out of any component of the plan. If you do opt out, you need to have a written statement on the reason why. And opting out only affects the panel member's municipality. It doesn't affect the plan. And then the panel members also have to vote on the plan as a final plan. For the plan development, what we need to do going forward is identify shared services, opportunities, estimate potential savings, conduct 3 public hearings, and submit a plan to the Warren County Board of Supervisors for any of their recommendations. So far, we've received some ideas to date. Plowing and maintenance of county roads, which we've done this in most towns, but not all towns. Youth incarceration center in the old jail. Combining like 2 or 3 counties to participate in that. Creating, I guess, Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the youth have to have special circumstances.
Right. The state has, passed the raise the age law, so now anybody under the age of, I think 16 or 17 will have to be housed separately from the prisoners. The state has implemented this. There are no facilities. I think there may be 5 facilities across the state that can do this now. So every county is kind of scratching their head, how are we going to accomplish this? We certainly don't have a facility here to house at-risk youth. Washington County doesn't. So we're trying to find out how are we going to handle this, and we're not getting a lot of answers from the state. One of the areas was thrown out the other day was maybe having McGregor reinstituted to house all these troubled youth. So it's all part of this raise the age, but that's something that maybe we can use in the future as part of the consolidation idea. So.
Okay. The next 2 items were we received a letter from the Capital Region BOCES on a purchasing coalition for the New York State Pharmacy Purchasing Coalition, and actuarial services for GASB 4575. And I included that in your packet. You'll see information on that. I didn't research any further than that reading the letter, so it was an idea that was set to us, so I wanted to share it. And there's also a form in your packet. If you have any actions or ideas, if you could fill out the form and return them to the county administrator's office, we can bring them to our next meeting and discuss them and see if they'll fit into our plan.
As you can see, there's a lot of variables with this whole plan, and just dealing with a lot of counties, very few counties has instituted the plan this year. They're deferring it to 2018, give us more time. So one of the first things we need to do is we can discuss, or I don't think we can do this in this year. I don't think we have enough information. We haven't really spent a lot of time on doing this. And I think what we need to do is vote today whether we want to pursue it for 2017 or put it off to 2018. Doesn't mean we won't stop moving ahead and schedule public hearings and get input from the public. It just gives us time to put a good plan together rather than put it together a hasty plan that may or may not work for all of us. I mean, I don't know how how everybody feels in this room. I just don't feel that we've had enough time. That was one of the hits we got because we've had several Department of State people come visit us, but every time you ask them, well, what do you need to do to get to where we have to be, we get different answers all the time. So I'm not prepared to move a plan forward. I don't know if my colleagues or the school superintendents want to move ahead with this, or we can move ahead with it but not put it into effect until 2018. It won't affect our taxes in 2017 going forward. So I think that's the first item we need to do is to vote whether we try to get something done this year or we defer it to 2018. So I'd like some discussion on that if anybody would like to offer anything. Anybody? Frank? Yes, Gene.
Any repercussions not doing it in 2017?
No, not in 2017. I think it gives us a better opportunity to think more about what we can seriously do. I mean, I have a few ideas. I haven't shared them yet, but it's just, I think it gives us more time to develop a good plan. It gives everybody time to think in the next 9 months of things that we can do. I know, John, you and I, we do a lot now. We may not formally do a lot, but there may be things that we can move forward. I haven't really heard a lot from the town supervisors or members of the board. What's your feelings? Cynthia, got anything to offer?
Wait for next year, but move forward.
Okay. Frank?
Yeah, I think, if we're going to have a realistic plan for this initiative by our legislators and governor, I think, I don't think we can do it this year. I think we'd be better off postponing it until 2018, but work on it and put together a decent plan if we can. Come up with some ideas.
Mr. Huntley?
I agree. I see this meeting as being more of an exploratory meeting for me, anyway.
Yeah.
And we can take what information we gather from this meeting back to other superintendents, John, Tim Place, and I. We'll be able to do that with the other BOCES, with the other component school districts in this county, and perhaps do a little bit more work on it.
Yeah. Doug?
Yeah, I don't see the need to rush it when it's not even, we're not even close to completion of it. So it's just common sense to me that let's do it right, let's do it thoroughly, and let's push it back to next year so we do have a solid plan to go forward with.
Ms. Siebert?
Thank you for asking me. I'm not officially on your committee. I'm here to observe, but I completely agree with your comments.
Supervisor Stroud?
I agree. You can't put your ideas together and put the data together and the functions of how that's going to achieve countywide savings in 3 weeks.
Okay. Gene?
No, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of questions. Like my town, we have shared services with a town in Saratoga County, Hadley. So I got to find out if that's available. We have an emergency squad, which you didn't mention fire. Is that going to be into it? So there's a lot of questions, and it needs a lot more time to look at it.
Mr. Stevens?
As an appointed deputy supervisor, it is my understanding that I do not have a vote on any of the issues at this level, but I would say that on this particular issue that the advice is well taken up to this point, that it would be deferred until next year, awaiting more input and gathering more information.
Yeah, I think one advantage we have by waiting is we'll be able to, I'm on an email chain with other county administrators, so we'll be able to see what other counties are doing. I think if my recollection is right, maybe only 1 or 2 are taking the ball and running. And then the school superintendents, you'll be able to see what other superintendents have come up with in other jurisdictions too. So, Matt?
I agree. Defer it and come up with a good plan.
Supervisor Frazier?
I feel the same way. We should be working a good plan.
Dave? Craig?
Agreed.
Okay, then I guess we'll have a motion by one of the panel members and a second to defer this to 2018. We'll have a motion by Supervisor Simpson, second by Supervisor Frazier to defer this to 2018. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't continue to work on these and start thinking about different things. One of the things I thought about from a county level is we don't do assessing on a county level. We do it on an individual town level. That's something that I'd like all the town supervisors to start thinking about doing assessing on a county-wide level, where the equalization rates would be the same and everybody would be on the same set of circumstances on assessing. That's one thing that we don't do now that I think we could do. I know tax collection's been brought up by some of the counties. I think the issues are a lot of people like to go to their town halls or wherever they go to pay their taxes on time, and I think if you move that to the county, I just don't know how that would work. I think we'd get a lot of pushback from our residents. But countywide assessing, I think, could work. Most of us share assessors now. It would be just expanding how we do that, so that's something I would suggest. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to throw out right now? Supervisor Strout.
You mean throw out ideas as to potential things?
Potential savings now, or do you want to mail them, send them into Christie, and or would you like to share them with the committee right now so they could start?
Well, I mean, offhand, I think things that we ought to look at is a county-wide animal control like they're using in Rockland County and Clinton County. They're looking at animal-wide animal control or county-wide animal control. Bulk purchasing of LED lighting. Formalizing our agreements with the highway department. I know that we just formalized an agreement with the state DOT in sharing of services. And there are other things. I can submit those.
Yeah, that's good. Anybody else have an idea that they'd like to get out today to the panel? Anybody from the audience to give us something to think about now? We're at the real initial stages of this. We are required to have 3 public hearings, which we will do after we formulate. I don't know when we have to schedule those.
I think after we start doing the plan and putting it together, so we have something to tell the public.
Okay, so why don't we use the deadline in our September 15th. I'll ask everybody to try to have something into the county here as a part of, so we can start to formulate a shared services plan by the September 15th. We'll garner the information. We'll try to put it together. If you give us all your email addresses when you send them in, we'll get out the information, and once we start to formulate the plan, then maybe we can schedule a public hearing or two. And I know what the law says, but you know, I'm one to, the more people we have participating, I'm okay, even though you may not be a first official member of the panel, to send us in some information. We can make sure it gets on the panel. Anybody else got anything to offer today? I know this is very short, but it's a start. We've got a couple weeks. I know schools, you'll be gearing up for opening of school. But, you know, try to get us some good information. Think outside the box. You know, that's one thing. We may run into some hurdles when we did that. I've known before when we've tried to do things county to county, you run into rules and regulations that the state has put onto you that stops you at times, but it may be a good opportunity to get something that doesn't make sense repealed in Albany. I say that very lightly, repealed in Albany. But so I appreciate everybody coming today, and I think that I'll, unless something I missed, anybody, I'll close the meeting, and thank you all for attending, and we'll be in touch. Thanks.